First of all, hello to everyone that clicked on this video. I'm assuming you either are one of my subscribers already and were curious about what this video is about, or you've been looking for Eternal videos and are looking for some content. So for those of you that normally watch my more lifestyle-based videos, you can skip this one unless you're interested in maybe finding another hobby of a strategy card game. If you've ever played Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or Hearthstone, if you've played any of those games before, you'd probably be interested in this one. I found this to be one of my favorite games, and if you've jumped on this because you've been looking for Eternal videos and decks to play, well, you've come to the right place. So this is a deck that I mainly use for laddering. This is actually a newer build of the deck that I've been using, that I've found on Warcry recently. I'll post a link to the actual deck in the description. But this deck's quite good because you don't need this card. You don't need this card. I mean, this is a really good card for this deck, to be honest, Bandit Queen. There are replacements, and I'll talk about them. But you don't need the legendaries in this deck. And Black Hole War Leader, for example, you don't need. This is the deck as is, so again, I'll link to the deck below, but I'll also show a budget-friendly version after. I feel like I've played this deck for probably the last 3 months now, and variations of it. The deck being known as Stonescar Aggro. There is a Stonescar mid-range build floating out there as well, but it's the deck that I feel like I know the best. And even though this is a new build of it that I'm getting used to myself, to be honest, I'll go over some other builds and kind of go through the general feel for the deck. So obviously it's aggro, so you can see that we cap out at 4 power here. So yeah, it looks to go hard early. Like, for example, this list is running a bit different, a few different cards to the list I was using before. They're going with Bloodseekers, Grenadin Drones, and Oni, Ronin, and Street Urchin. All this is the same as my other list, but they're going like, how can I say, like Street Urchin is a great early game and great late game. Like, this is just a good card. They want to get the war cries in to buff other units, and this is just to swamp the board. And this is obviously like just a really good one drop. Removal, we've got lots of removal. Suffocates I've got 3 of. In my old deck I didn't actually run Suffocates, but I was running 4 Desecrate, 3 Annihilate's good, 4 Torch. I'll go over my deck after, but this is it as it stands. So I'll go through the main differences actually. So this one is running a lot more cards that do things straight away, whereas the list that I was running before has a lot of the shifted units. So it's got some units that I'll talk about in a sec. But as you can see here, it's not too costly in terms of shift zone if you just take away the legendaries. And let's just look at that first. Let's look at some replacements for the legendaries. I feel like is a good idea. Let's take a look at Black Hole War Leader. So my recommendation for a replacement for Black Hole War Leader, as many people will say in the community, a great card is... So obviously for this one you need the campaign for the Desecrate. That's a pretty vital card. And this card that I'm going to show you also comes in a campaign. And honestly, as a new player, like when I started this game, one of my big tips is to do all the campaigns, whether you spend real money and just, get it over and done with. You don't have to save for them, or you just save for them. I did a mixture of both. But the campaign that has Rip Knife Assassin, strongly recommend. So this is a replacement for Black Hole War Leader. And as far as Bandit Queen, okay, so the replacement for Bandit Queen, it does cost 1 more mana, but I would recommend the Eclipse Dragon. It's a good one. Like, its second clause isn't that great, but having a 4/4 with flying with charge is a pretty good. You can also swap out Goliath for him. Otherwise, some other options you've got are Dread Hellkite you could chuck in here instead of Goliath, or for the Bandit Queens. But to be honest, if you don't have, if you really need to craft a lot of these cards, the ones that I would say to craft first would definitely be your Champion of Chaos. That's probably the best card in this deck, to be honest. I found to be, because when you've got the triple red and the triple or triple fire and triple shadow, you got a 5/5 overwhelm deadly, so it can take out a 7/7 unit and deal 5 damage to face. Like, it's just ridiculous. Apart from that, I think the emblems are really good in this deck. Well, and the merchant is also quite good. These are all rares, I realize, and that does add up. Bloodseeker, you could probably replace with, let me think, what would I? So maybe I just quickly show the units that I normally run that are shifted. Instead of Bloodseeker, you can run 4 Nimble Conscript, so that will obviously help your budget, just a common instead of a rare. And the other one, which I actually prefer is to the Nimble Conscript, is the Crooked Alley Guide. Works very well. I'll show you that build as well, and I'll link you to the link on Warcry, which is a great website for checking out decks. I don't know if you use it or not, but yeah, for the newbies, check that one out. So yeah, this is the main deck. Now, yeah, you've got a lot of removal. You just want to drop units early. You want to try and basically take the game by ideally like turn 5, even turn 6. If I go into my profile, no changes. I don't know if I made a change there. There are some cards that definitely can be changed out, but let's see my match history if I can go back far enough. I've been using Elysian Maul a lot, and I might make another deck to describe that, but Puns for All is one of the guys that streamed a lot of that, so I'll credit him with that. Found Fun was fun, except when I got 4 losses here, but I got 4 to start with. I know it's fun. You only see here, I lost in 17 turns. If that's the deck, I just renamed it for this video. But yeah, if it takes 17 turns, you probably need to win well before that. Unfortunately, I don't have enough history here to show you guys, but you can definitely climb with this deck. I'll show you the deck that I used to use. So this deck I'll post in the comments as well. So this is my initial one, and to be honest, I will probably start playing this one as well. So this one is a little different. Runs a bit of a mixed bag. Like, you got your Flame Blast, I find can be a good way to finish games, but maybe it's a market card. And then Rista I find to be quite good with the Warcry and drawing a sigil, but you do have to run more sigils. So like now, I could probably see myself running 4 Emblem of Makars actually. Then another card that some lists have is Livia here. Livia's a good card. Some run 2 copies. It's all kind of up in the air, but I feel like the one that I showed you before is kind of the more current list. I have to compare my experience with these as I go into Diamond now, which I just hit earlier today. Always a bit later in the month for me, but yeah, hopefully I can hit Masters this month. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, so like in the comments, if you have any comments about this deck, if you want to see some gameplay footage of it, I can definitely make a video after if there's enough interest. And thank you for sticking around till the end of the video. And yeah, again, any questions, just send them to me, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys. Because I know it's hard to find a good deck to climb with, being budget friendly. Because I know, like, I was looking at making that Praxis deck, but it just costs too much shift stone, and I'd rather play more decks than just one really good one. So again, have a good one, and thanks for checking out the video.